Hi, it's Gail from Blue Rose Paper Treasures. I've been asked to give a little video tutorial on how I put this Ferrero Rocher gift box together. So I'll do it very quickly, just so you can understand how I did it. First thing, envelope punch board. The measurements is a 6 5/8 inch square. When I originally made this one, I did it with designer series paper, but for this example, I'm just going to use plain paper so you can see where I score. First punch and score is 1 3/8 and 3 3/8. And I've lost my scorer. There it is. Right. So you line it up, 1 3/8, punch, score, slide it across, 3 3/8, punch and score. Rotate, and you're going to line up the next one with the first score line. So you just line it up. I'm not sure if you can see in there. You just line it up with the little arrow, I don't know what you'd call that, with the guide. You line it up, punch, score. Now this one, because you can't quite get to it, I just fold it over a little bit, following the score line. Line it up, punch and score. Back around, rotate, and that should go back to 1 3/8, and the next one is 3 3/8. Right, and the next one, once again, I just folded a little bit to line it up. So punch and score that first one, punch and score, and the second one. Alright, and there you have your box. So you're just going to fold on all the score lines. Get rid of that. I'm doing this very quickly, so it's not going to be a perfect box. It should be, but then you're just going to snip up all the flaps up to the score line. Alright, so your box is starting to take shape. So when you fold it over, obviously these two flaps are going to be too big, so you need to trim them. I just sort of eyeball it. Just trim that flap off. Trim that flap off. And there's a tiny little bit here that may prevent it from folding in, so I'm just going to trim those little bits off. Just a tiny bit. You can see how small the piece is that I'm trimming off. Trim the other side. That's all the trimming. So we test it. So you're going to fold that end in. And you'll leave one end open, but you'll attach the other three. So there's your box. Alright, so they're long enough that they will attach to each other, and that will get stuck on the back. So you won't see the join on the back. Alright, so here's one I prepared before. Now to die cut the window opening, I do it from the inside, because sometimes when you run it through the big shot it leaves an impression. So I've just used the die from the Lakeside framelits, and I've just used that long one. Attach a little bit of washi to hold it in place. Then to fit it through the big shot, you'll need to fold the sides over and then just run it through the big shot, and that will give you your opening. I've also added a piece of window sheet inside. I think I just measure it so that it goes right around, and that'll just stop it just looks nice. It's a nicer finish rather than there's no window there, so the balls, the balls aren't going to fall out. So that's your box. Right, so all I do, back to the other one, just grab, you're going to attach 3 sides. There you go. So just put some tape, obviously a bit neater than I'm doing. Alright, and a little bit on that one. And then you're going to put just 1 strip for now, or a little bit more. Don't go right down, because as you can see when you fold it over it's not going to meet anyway. So you've got strips on there, snail on that side, and then a little bit of snail on the inside of this one. Whoop. So what you're going to do is make the bottom of the box, Right, then you've got tape on there and tape on there, so that one will go in first. That one goes in. I actually put the top in so I can get a nice, puts the top in so you get a nice solid fit. So you've got tape on that one. So roll that over and just close it. And then to secure it, just open that end, just pop your finger in, turn it over, and just put a bone folder in there just to secure it. Alright, and there's your box. So that'll be the top you're opening. Now with these you can actually do them that way or you can have them that way. So it doesn't really matter which way, it's up to you, it's your preference. So once the window sheet is in there, I actually put the window sheet in, yeah. So once you've die cut it, put the window sheet in, then assemble your box. And the next piece is your card part. It's 4 1/8 by 6 5/8, and you score at 4 inch. That bit will fold over, and this box just sits nice and neatly on the edge like that. So what I do is when I cut the designer paper, it's 2.5 by 4.5, but I do it a little bit bigger so that when it's attached, I can then trim it just so that I know that it's going to have a perfect coverage. So attach that, and right up along this crease, along the score line. Alright, so you can see there'll be a little bit that you'll have to trim off, but at least you know it's going to be a full coverage. Once that's attached, I won't trim that off just yet, or I might just quickly trim it with some scissors. Alright, then you grab your punch. I used a 1.5 inch punch, and you line it up with the score line right flush against there, because this little bit of this will sit underneath where the box is going. So you don't want to do it centrally. So just line it up along the edge of the score line. Punch your corner out. Punch your aperture out. And then I just use the back of the envelope punch board just around the corners. Now it will be a bit thick. You don't have to do this part. There we go. And then I usually use this Wonder tape because it's nice and strong. And I use the 3mm one, but obviously I don't have much left of that, so I'm just going to use some ordinary tape. So you just run some tape across the bottom, some tape up the side, close that. Alright, then you grab your box. I leave the flap open because what I actually use glossy accents, but if you've got any Tombow, that'll do, because you really want it to stick and tape won't really do it. So if we can get the tape out, get glue out, sometimes it blocks. Alright, I just put some glue around the edge, making sure you're not getting it over there where the top flap will go in. And then you just line it up with the edge, making sure you've got the top at the top of the card, because you don't want your chocolates to fall out. And then I'll kind of just push it up against the edge. Glossy gives you a bit of freedom to move it around a bit. And you just line it up. Once again, I'm just going to use the bone folder just to secure that in there. And there you have it. Close the top, and there you have it. So it was just easier for me to do it in 2 pieces than following one of the other lots of instructions that I saw on Pinterest. With your little tag, it's just with your tag topper punch. I actually cut it about 4 inches or something, 4 inches long and 2 inches wide, and then trimmed it to fit, because depending on what tape you use around the edge, you need to be able to get it, and you don't need a really long tag in there. Just slot that in, and then just finish it off. So that's all there is to it. I hope this is helpful. If you've got any questions, just contact me and I'll help you out if I can. Alright, so there's the quick instruction to making the Ferrero Rocher gift box. Thank you for watching. Bye.